IDubbbz in the current day hasn't really been seen as much of anything great. However, that greatness I refer to manifested itself into the persona that was IDubbbz of 2016. In the current day, IDubbbz has made this view on his persona crystal clear. In an attempt to mature his content overall, he would alienate his fanbase, which is one thing to consider, but the way he went about it was all wrong, especially when you consider the fact that he publicly defecates all over his audience, the one that he built, off of the content drama that he used to cover. Right. Because that would go over so well. So with that being said, I thought I'd tell you guys about how IDubbbz went from hero to zero. However, I do want to just mention one thing really quick. I am working on another tier list for you guys. You guys seem to like the first one that I did, and I had a lot of fun doing it. So, you know, just hold off on that. I'll get to it in a second. But for now, let's focus on the topic at hand. So, Ian Joma, yes, I'm using his government name, stop laughing and get over it, or IDubbbz for short, would seemingly begin his career on YouTube with the channel that became popular and the one that you know as IDubbbz. However, I guess it is somewhat worth mentioning that he used to have a channel before the main one that focused more around reviewing indie games, which isn't really too far off from what he would later be doing, which was reviewing Kickstarters and pretty much just making fun of them. This could also be seen as the foundation for which he would create something that he would become infamous for, which is content cop.
Actually, I kind of like to think of it as like a Pokemon evolution of his content of sorts, with his old channel being the pre-evolution of
Like I said previously, IDubbbz is most known for his Content Cop series. This is a series where he would oftentimes harshly criticize other people in the YouTube and commentary space. And I won't lie, I'm pretty sure this was like a trendsetter at the time. Nobody else was really doing it like IDubbbz, in the same manner at least. Especially when you get down to what made the video so popular in the first place, which is IDubbbz's personality mixed in with his skits. This is of course something that people would gravitate towards instantly, with people who are watching liking Ian for who he was at the time, who was IDubbbz. His popularity on YouTube would only grow after this, with him doing collaborations with Filthy Frank, Max Mofo, and others in a similar space. This popular persona and overall positive attitude from the community lasted for all of about 4 years, right up until his girlfriend at the time would announce her OF on Twitter. And if we're really honest, like this is where it all went down. IDubbbz would make his now infamous video around the topic, essentially targeting his fans and trying to distance himself away from the old IDubbbz that his audience once knew.
To me anymore, that's fine. I don't want you to look up to me. First up, we got Edward. He probably got told by a lot of people that he looks like IDubbbz, and he really liked that because IDubbbz was cool. But now that IDubbbz is a simp, now he's gonna go in full baby Wawa mode. No, shut the fuck up, you dumb fuck. You don't get to haha funny yourself out of this one. You're a simp. You act all edgy and cool on YouTube and then go and film your girlfriend shoving anal beads up her ass for OnlyFans afterwards? Fuck you. You lied to everyone. You ruined my life. Oh, looks like I did something a little too edgy. Edward, I don't know where you got the idea that I was cool. Do you think it was cool when I was playing with anal beads? It's cool when I play with anal beads. Do you think it was cool when I was running around in an oversized cop outfit? That was cool to you.
This video hit like a bomb, and pretty much everybody in the commentary community and on Twitter were talking about it for weeks. Personally, I remember videos coming out about it left and right. I honestly just couldn't escape them, which is crazy because you would think that YouTube would stop recommending me the same video that I've seen over and over and over again on my feed after I've watched the first 3. But here we are. Anyways, people echoed the same sentiment at the time that I'm going to be repeating here, so if you are tired of hearing people say things about it, well, tough shit, go cry about it. The situation was already an intense fire with Anissa Joma being tied to IDubbbz so closely, but him responding in such a way just threw gasoline on the entire fire and made it worse than it already was, especially when you consider the fact that he was trying to make arguments such as OnlyFans isn't going to be something that stops you from getting future jobs, and if you say that, then you have no real life experience. Yeah, because if for some reason I wanted to show my asshole online, I could rest assured that PetSmart wouldn't fire my ass. So hooray for me, I get to keep my job, yeah. Things would only get worse from that point, however, because later on, Sam Hyde would be introduced into the equation. These two began to have a little beef stemming from a documentary series that was filmed by both Sam Hyde and IDubbbz. In a video that Sam Hyde would release called The Truth About IDubbbz, it included some of this documentary, and when asked about it, Sam would detail a sort of clash of interests, with him attributing this to being the only reason why that documentary itself hadn't seen the light of day. However, this conflict of interest was a little bit more messed up than you might have thought, because according to Sam, he seemingly wanted to make a documentary essentially following around Sam Hyde and making fun of him for falling off, which is something that Sam Hyde even says that happened to him. However, Sam wanted to make a video that was something that people would say that was cool, sprinkled in with a bunch of jokes played on IDubbbz for comedic purposes. To me personally, it just kind of felt like IDubbbz was trying to make content out of Sam rather than with him like Sam was trying to do. You'll see later on though that this whole beef was just the starting point, I'd say, for something that would turn from beef beef into disdain, because now we'll talk about Creator Clash and the whole drama surrounding that. So Creator Clash was this annual event that IDubbbz created, and it was a charity boxing event that would be held between social media influencers. Sam Hyde would have been in attendance for this first one, but it was found out that he was blacklisted essentially from the event. In a Twitter Voices with Keemstar, Ian would say himself that Sam was excluded from the event due to him being a brand risk, which is pretty insane coming from IDubbbz, who just a couple of years ago would have been considered a bigger brand risk, or one just as big. This whole thing would ultimately throw more beef on the grill, if you kind of catch my drift, I guess. Kill me. IDubbbz's decision to do this was ultimately seen as something that Anissa Joma, his partner at the time, would be pulling the strings behind, as ever since her OF announcement on Twitter, Sam Hyde has been very vocal about the fact that IDubbbz was a complete cuck. So the first Creator Clash came and went, and then the second one came around next year, and this one had even more issues with it than the first one. First of all, it lost $250,000. That was of course blamed on mismanagement, but there was also the situation with Froggy Fresh. It's important to note that some of the fighters, even though they were content creators, were also training hard for the fights, or I guess harder than they ever have before, comparatively to just making content all day, I guess. I don't know. The point is, they spent money on training and getting their body in shape kind of, and Froggy Fresh was no different. He spent months training with Sam Hyde to get ready for his appearance in Creator Clash. However, before that even happened, Froggy Fresh would make a video saying that he would subscribe to Anissa Joma's OnlyFans upon his loss, and I think it was pretty clear from the response team of Creator Clash that Ian took that one personally. To be completely honest, this wasn't really that big of a deal, and plus I'm under the impression that during boxing events, like the UFC events that happen, there's a ton of trash talk everywhere, both with the fighters and with their groups, and you know, in some ways this is allowed because it ends up building hype for the event, which draws in more money and more viewers, etc, etc. However, what IDubbbz ended up doing was canceling Froggy Fresh's appearance on the card and tried to hit him with a lawsuit. Why IDubbbz even did this in the first place was actually revealed by himself in a video that he made, pretty much just talking about the situation, which also was received very poorly. The real reason why Froggy was kicked off of the card was because he was associating with Sam Hyde, someone who has had previous beef with IDubbbz and made numerous comments on his wife and her OnlyFans page. And this is where we get to another very well received video made by IDubbbz, and this was titled "I Miss the Old IDubbbz." This is where he really just tries to walk back everything that he's done and pretty much alienate his audience further, generally just showing a lack of confidence in who he used to be, which is part of the reason why people stuck around in the first place. Now look, there's absolutely nothing wrong with trying to mature your content and evolve as a creator. That's something that literally everybody who has stood the test of time on YouTube has done. I mean, everybody except for Cocomelon, I guess. However, when you do try to mature your content, especially coming from stuff like Content Cop and the I'm gay meme and stuff like that, you know, this is stuff that people have grown to know you as. Doing a drastic 180 isn't really that good of an idea, especially when along the way you're shitting all over your audience at every chance you get, because if you're doing that, people are less likely to even accept you for who you are right now. However, hindsight is 2020, even though somebody could have fucking seen this miles ahead before we even got to this point. Anyways, that's gonna be it for me today, guys. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button. If you want more content similar to this, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one. Sub up, stay safe, and peace.